So with the industry continuing to march toward electrification, it's really opening the doors for a lot of EV startup companies to compete head-on with legacy auto manufacturers. That brings us to this vehicle that I'm standing by. It's built by a company that you've probably never heard of, VinFast. They are owned by the subsidiary group called Vin Group in Vietnam. And these two models that they're bringing to the US, the VF8 and this larger VF9, are dedicated battery electric cars designed for the American market. So I'm at the 2022 New York International Auto Show. Let's take a first look at this 2023 VF9. So before we go into the walk around of this VF9, I want to give a brief shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's actually VinFast. If you guys are interested in being a VinFirst pioneer, be sure to click in the link in the description below where you can go to the reservation page and be one of the first people to own this car when it goes on sale in America by the end of 2022. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the styling of the VF9. Now remember, VinFast is a Vietnamese electric vehicle startup company. They are owned by Vin Group, which is one of the largest companies in Vietnam that has multiple successful business entrepreneurs. And now that they are finally coming to America, their styling language, obviously, because they are a new company, we don't really have anything to compare it by, so VinFast kind of had a clean slate. Now, I do want to mention they did partner up with Pininfarina. If you guys know Pininfarina, they are an Italian design company that constantly works with Ferrari, which is why the VF8 and the VF9 have a very interesting styling language. Now, I want to first talk about the VF9 because this is a 3-row, supersized luxury crossover vehicle that honestly is going to be one of the first ones out there. Right now, if you want an electric vehicle, an all-electric vehicle that has 3 rows, you can only buy basically a Tesla Model X and a Tesla Model Y, and let's face it, the one in the Model Y is very, very small. The styling language of the VF9, you can see in pictures, I certainly thought it was an interesting look. In person, now that I'm seeing it, it certainly has a very interesting stance. The vehicle itself is almost 79 inches wide. So you can see the width of this car is really showing off the lines of the vehicle. You can see you have this very distinctive front end where there is no grille on this vehicle. Instead, we kind of have this little air intake here that goes up through the grille that allows for better aerodynamics. You have kind of this LED light bar here that goes into the V logo here for the VinFast logo. You have full LED headlights, of course, LED low and high beams. There are some functional air vents along the side that create an air curtain. There's also some piano black trim. Overall, in person, I definitely like the way the VF9 looks. I actually think it looks a little bit better versus the VF8. It kind of has that premium boxy look. You can see over on the hood over here, they do have a little cutout that allows the air to flow through, because with an electric vehicle, you want to have that aerodynamics. That's all going to give you slightly better efficiency. Now, looking at the rest of the side profile, you can see this vehicle is massive. In terms of the overall length, it's over 201 inches long. 201 inches long makes this longer than something like the Ford Explorer, the Kia Telluride, the Hyundai Palisade, and it's also a couple inches longer versus the Tesla Model Y. You can really see how long the vehicle is. At around 68 inches tall as well, it also has the SUV height, and VinFast says this model here offers just around 8 inches of ground clearance. So it does have some pretty decent ground clearance. Now, I don't know all of the usual specs. I don't know the battery capacity of this vehicle. The battery is gonna be basically in between the floor of the car. And I also can't open up the hood because this is a very, very early prototype model where the hood doesn't open. But essentially, you should be able to get a frunk in this vehicle because VinFast says that that's something that they wanted to include. Now, I want to talk about the wheels. VinFast will offer a choice between up to a 19-inch wheel all the way up to this 22-inch wheel. You can see this 22-inch wheel is wrapped in two 75/35 width tires. I really like the wheel design itself. It's got the black inner spokes. It's got kind of like this arrow look. It's a very aggressive looking tire that really gives the car an aggressive stance. I think that they did a really good job there. This is where the charge port door is going to go. VinFast says this vehicle should be able to DC fast charge from 10 to 70% in roughly 35 minutes. I don't have the specs of the battery pack just yet. That's something that will come as we get closer to the on-sale date, but this vehicle will come standard with dual motor all-wheel drive. So you have a motor in the front, a motor in the back. This will offer up to 402 horsepower and 472 pound-feet of torque. So pretty decent numbers considering this is an electric vehicle startup that we've never even heard of here in America. VinFast says the range of this car will be around 369 miles. That should be the WLTP rating. That's the larger battery pack. VinFast should be offering 2 different battery sizes. There'll be a smaller one, which will have probably under 300 miles of range. This one here, I'm suspecting the US range will be right around 350, which is a good number to see, especially considering the fact that this is their first attempt. It's gonna have pretty good range. Now, looking at the rest of the side profile, you can see the door handles have this really interesting design, almost like a Tesla, where this should pop out, but this is a very early prototype, so the doors don't open. You can see there's this interesting character line over here, this like styling detail where it shows the VinFast logo. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this, but it is certainly different. It kind of gives me like almost Range Rover Evoque vibes to the styling. I think it really looks interesting. And then if you follow me over to the rear of the car without hopefully me falling off the end, you can see the rear end styling of the vehicle also kind of mimics the way the front end is. It has this kind of interesting design to the LED daytime running light, or the LED taillights back here. It spells out VinFast. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of VinFast in the US soon, because this is coming to America by the end of this year. And then I can't open up the cargo area just yet. I don't have any figures yet, but overall, let me know what you think of the design. Remember, Pininfarina helped the company design these vehicles, and I have to say, it will be an interesting sight when this car does go on sale. Now, speaking of which, I can't also show you the interior, but you should know that the interior is gonna be fully modernized. It'll have a 15.6-inch touchscreen infotainment center display, no display behind the instrument panel, but VinFast says it'll include things like over-the-air updates. It'll have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that 15.6-inch screen is gonna be one of the largest in the industry. It's actually a little bit larger versus what you're gonna find in some Tesla vehicles. Now, speaking of which, if you guys are interested to purchase the VF9, this car will be in California first. VinFast says next month, as early as next month, they're gonna be opening 30 stores, and that's gonna be pretty quick. That's gonna be happening next month. They're all gonna be in California. You can go into those stores, you can basically see the car in person, you can order the car as well. And VinFast says that this car here will start at under $56,000. So I want to reiterate what you're getting here. You're getting a 3-row premium family SUV that's all electric, that'll go over 300 miles on a full charge, and this car will start at under $56,000. That is before any kind of federal tax credit. And VinFast says if you want to be one of the first people to buy this, a VinFirst Pioneer, you can basically collect a voucher when you buy this vehicle that'll take an additional $5,000 off the MSRP. That is for the people who actually become a VinFirst Pioneer if you're going to order the car and be one of the first to get the vehicle. But it's a really interesting proposition, and I really am excited to see what VinFast does when they come to America by the end of this year. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. For Redline Reviews here at the 2022 New York International Auto Show, I'm Sophian Bey.